made an effort to take her own life, correct? And how did she do that?
Right, so she did. She described that she went ahead to take her life or attempt to take her life with multiple steps. She went to her room upstairs in the house and took the various medications that were present. She cut at her wrists and at her neck, and then she caused herself to fall from the window.
Okay, and as far as going out the window, did she tell you whether she had to do anything with the screen?
She described to me that she cut the screen.
Okay, and then she dove out the window.
Well, objection, that's not what he said.
Well, what did she do after she cut the screen?
She fell from the window.
Did you ask her, or was there conversation about the phone call that she received from Patrick?
There was.
And was she able to clearly identify when the call came from Patrick?
I don't exactly recall exactly when, but it was sometime in the around 18 to 20 minutes that this was happening that she received that call.
Do you recall if part of the conversation about the timeline of events, whether the voice came as soon as Patrick left the house or before or after the phone call?
My recollection is that it happened as soon as Patrick had left.
Now, were there some things in what she was telling you about the events that was different from what you reviewed from other information in this case?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I'm just asking if you recall that there were things in the version that she told you in your interview that were different or not consistent with the information you knew about the case.
Well, two things come to mind. One is the locking or the closing of the bedroom door, and the other is the cutting of the screen of the window.
Okay, and as far as the locking or closing of the bedroom door, do you recall what she told you about that?
She denied that she had done that.
And so from the information you reviewed about reports from Patrick and everything else, did you know that the door had been locked?
That was my understanding.
And the second thing that you indicated about the screen, what information did you have about the screen that was different from what she reported to you?
I believe there was a question as to whether the screen had been cut, perhaps with a sharp.
And as far as the going out the window piece of it, you were aware that she didn't have any head injury, correct?
Yes, I am.
That she had the spinal injuries, the C1 injury, but no injuries to her head.
Correct.
And as far as her report of taking medication or taking pills, did you know whether she took all the pills that she had in the house or?
Well, I'm not sure about the house. She described all the pills in her bedroom.
And were you aware that there were other pill bottles located in other parts of the house?
I'm not sure I knew that.
How about the phone call? She indicated that at the time of the phone call, she believed she had the baby in her hand and she was doing something like taking food out of the fridge or getting food ready for the kids. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And were you aware, do you recall seeing crime scene photos that show that the kids' bowls were in the living room?
Yes.
And that Patrick later reported that he had seen Dawson eating green beans and chicken nuggets before he left the house? Were you aware of that? So, Dr. Mack, based on your review of this case, were you able to come to an opinion to a degree of medical certainty about whether this defendant was suffering from a mental disease or defect on January 24th of 2023?
Yes, I did.
And what is that opinion?
That, yes, she was suffering from a mental disease or defect, namely major depressive episode as a part of major depressive disorder.
And as far as the substantial capacity to appreciate wrongfulness or criminality of conduct, were you able to come to an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty about that?
Yes.
And what's your opinion regarding that?
that she had retained that capacity.
And what information do you rely upon to come to that conclusion?
The first point is that this was a continuation. Her mental state at that time was a continuation of the mental state she had had for months. And it was a mental state that included the capacity to control her behavior and also to be able to conform her conduct to standards of law. So in that sense, first of all, there's not an indication to me that there was something that changed the overall capacity in that regard. Secondly, to the extent we are talking about the ability to conform her conduct to the law, one can analyze her actions and her behaviors and her thoughts on that day, or as close as possible to the moments of the deaths. And that includes taking one of her children to a pediatrician that day, engaging in fun activities around the house that day, having engaged with one of her children's teachers the day before, having engaged in normal conversations with the restaurant that she ordered food from, 3V, and then also interactions with the pharmacy, CVS, where she was getting the Miralax from. So in all these places, there was the ability to act normally. There doesn't seem to be any deviation from where she had been all along, which included this capacity. Furthermore, I would add that as a part of her interactions with the community or in driving, she had abided by law and abided by standards of the community at all those times. So there isn't necessarily, to me, any way in which that deviated that afternoon.
So you're speaking about her ability to conform conduct, which is one of the things we're talking about here. But I want to go back to the appreciation for wrongfulness or criminality. As far as that goes, were you able to form an opinion about that?
Yes, sorry about that.
That's
yes.
okay. So what's your opinion about her ability to substantially conform, her substantial capacity to appreciate the wrongfulness or criminality of her conduct?
So I again would go to thinking about what had been her state of mind for at least the month prior, the several months prior, and in all that time, there wasn't any feature that indicated that she didn't